ties down. Girl, you lies out my fear. Do you mind if I sit right here? Cause when I'm with you, there is one thing that's clear. All the spot moves in my head dies down. Girl, your love drives out my fear. Wherever you are is where I wanna be. I know I'm good with you next to me. Do you mind if I sit right here? Cause when I'm with you, there is one thing that's clear. All the spot moves in my head dies down. Girl, your love drives out my fear. Wherever you are is where I wanna be. I know I'm good with you next to me. Calling all stations, we on the saving. Gracie's patient. I know you here to stay. A Jeffrey and Chevrolet. I wherever you are is where I wanna be. I know I'm good with you next to me. Wherever you are is where I wanna be. I know I'm good with you next to me. Break it down now. Do you mind if I sit right here? Cause when I'm with you, there is one thing that's clear. All this wide. Wherever you are is where I wanna be. I know I'm good with you next to me. Wherever you are is where I wanna be. I know I'm good with you next to me. Do you mind if I sit right here? All this wide noise in my head does do. Tiny problems always seem to tighter when you're violently tossing to the I'm drowning in this ocean low. But you reach out your hand, but you reach out your hand. I know I need you. I know I need you. Come on, take me closer. Come on, take me closer. I know I need you. I know I need you. Come on, take me closer. Come on, take me into your arms, where I know there is love. I know I need you. Come on, take me closer. Come on, take me closer. I know I need you. I know I need you. Come on, take me closer. Come on, take me closer. I know I need you. I know I need you. Come on, take me closer. Come on, take me closer. I know I need you. I know I need you. Come on, take me closer. Come on, take me closer. Here I am sitting again on the floor of the space in my basement. Under my breath, I'm reciting the prayer. I keep on praying. Deja vu, me and you. Yeah. On my knees, yeah, it's true. God, can't you see in the middle of me, in between I am breaking? How can I get you to change your mind? That's all I'm saying. Deja vu, begging you. Yeah. I forget sometimes. You say yes, you say no. For my best, God, you know better than me. Better than me. Better than me. What I want and what I really need, only you know the difference. Learning you do what's best for me, with every answer given. Deja vu, it's what you do. Yeah. You're showing me in time. You say yes, you say no. For my best, God, you know better than me. Better than me. You say yes, you say no. For my best, God, you know better than me. More like you, less like me. Giving me what I really need to make me more like you, less like me. Less like me. I forget sometimes. Oh, you say yes, you say no. For my best, God, you know better than me. Better than me. Oh, you say yes, you say no. For my best, God, you know better than me. You know better than me. Better than me. Whoa. You gave a heavenly breath and now it's air in our chest. That's why we're singing it back to you. For every battle you won, for everything that you've done, and everything that you're gonna do. Seen too much to ever doubt it. Feels so good I wanna shout it. Yeah, when I really think about it, all I wanna do is glorify your name. We can glorify your name. That's why we came to lift your name, to wanna sing. Glorify your name. We can glorify your name. That's why we came. Yeah, we were made to lift your name. All the church sing. So let your glory be heard until it covers the earth. Don't wanna wait for the rocks to shout. We got a reason to praise. This is the song of the saved. And no, we ain't gonna turn it. The kind of feeling. All we wanna do is that's why we came. That's why we came. Lift your name. Come on and sing. That's why we came. Yeah, we were made to lift your name. All the church sing. Every day we're gonna glorify. Every day we're gonna glorify. Every day we got a reason, 'cause church ain't only on the weekend. Yeah, when
Crew. Crew is a community where the gospel captures hearts, transforms lives, and launches men and women into a lifelong adventure with Jesus Christ. My name is Gavin Gochner.
And my name is Shannon Kate, and we are so glad that you guys are joining us tonight. We're super grateful. We love you guys. We also love t-shirts.
We do love t-shirts.
We love t-shirts. I really love t-shirts. I feel like since I came to college, I have so many t-shirts.
Oh yeah, a lot.
Like I feel like I get new t-shirts all of the time.
Especially from like Gobbler Fest, you know?
Like half of them are random.
Oh, I feel like I'm at Target, you know, I'm just walking down like I'm just having so many shirts. I don't even know like what clubs are there. You know, like I've like the bowling team club up there.
Are you on the bowling team?
No, that's what I'm saying. I don't know where the shirt came from. Yeah. No idea where it came from. Yeah.
That's amazing. You guys, we have a non-random t-shirt that you should get. They actually look epic.
They're
Can
really
we get
cool.
a picture?
They're actually like,
them?
I actually don't hype up shirts, but this thing is actually
this
really
one's
cool.
really, really awesome. Okay,
Boom.
so look.
That's it right there.
Look, we've got like McAfee's knob. It's beautiful. I mean, look at this.
Wow.
I want this shirt.
I want it too. That's
actually,
a great shirt.
I actually really, really want this shirt. How much is it?
So you're maybe thinking like with a sweet shirt like that, right? At least 20, 25. At least.
Yeah.
It's lower.
It's lower than,
it's lower, yeah.
Than 25. Is it? It's not 20.
No, and it's not 20.
It's not 20?
No, it's not 20.
Try
lower.
Is it $15?
$15 is not it. It's even lower than that. That's
seriously?
Right. Yeah, seriously.
How much is it then?
It's $12 for that sick shirt right there.
Guys, it's $12.
Instant steal.
This is
it's
like
a no-brainer.
This is like nothing. All right, so I'm getting that shirt.
I'm getting it as well.
Yeah, that looks so cool. Okay, so go get that shirt. I'm going to get that shirt. Where can I get this shirt?
That's a great question. You can actually find it on the Virginia Tech Crew Instagram, like right in our little bio, right there. You can also scan the QR code, which is right there. And guys, this shirt is legit. It's right up. Yeah, you guys got it.
Yeah. Also, you can go on the Crew website if you don't have an Instagram. Yeah. Okay, cool. So after you get that shirt, which is right now because you are getting it at this moment. Guys, we actually had a really cool conversation this week that we wanted to share with you all. We talked to the interns, Taylor and Christian, and they're so cool, you guys. They're so cool. We had a really great time talking to them. And we actually recorded the conversation because we wanted you all to get to know them a little bit. And also, we wanted you all to know a little bit about what it's like to intern, what it is that they do, and also to see if maybe you would be interested in interning. And so you can learn a little bit about what it is and if the Lord is calling you to that. So please enjoy this little video thing.
Hello, world. I'm Christian Diamante, intern.
I'm Taylor Brufford, also intern.
So, first of all, what do you actually do as an intern? What does your week look like?
Yeah. So it's actually really cool because it's not your typical intern job. We don't just follow around the other staff members all day. But as an intern, we focus mostly on working with the freshmen. So for me, I lead a freshman Bible study. I mentor through discipleship and coaching a lot of the freshman leaders. So I disciple 7 women and coach some of our servant team leaders and then some of the other community group leaders. I also just love meeting with students and drinking a lot of coffee with them, which is great.
Yeah. I mean, interning with Crew is basically being on staff, but for a 1-year period.
Yes. And more than one female and male from the senior class can intern.
Okay, wait. So there could have been another girl interning with you. Okay.
Yes, I didn't have to fight someone for this position.
All right. Well, my next question for you guys. Why did you decide to be an intern?
Yeah, I can go first. For me, I always kind of just had it on my mind to do full-time ministry or to do maybe engineering. I kind of had a pull in 2 different directions. Right, there's all the allure of being an engineer, and then there's full-time ministry. For me, 2 of the really big things that pushed me to deciding to be an intern. One was just the impact that one of the interns had on me my freshman and sophomore year. Ben Messina, shout out to him. He discipled me my freshman and sophomore year, and he just really poured into me a lot and taught me a lot of the basics. And really, because of the time spent with him and his just mentorship and discipleship, helped me to grow in my relationship. And I always really wanted that for other students. I really wanted that to kind of multiply that experience that I had to other students. And I thought this was the best way to do that.
Yeah, for me, I did a summer mission with Crew before my senior year of college and realized how how bad I was at workplace evangelism. It was just not what I was good at. And two, just seeing how the Lord worked in my life. I became a Christian freshman year of college. The Lord used Crew. And so doing ministry has kind of always been what I assumed. But senior year, the Lord really broke down what his expectations of me were, showing me that my gift is working in ministry, but I can still be a devoted and Christ following person, and I don't have to go into full-time ministry. So I think just finding the freedom that this is actually where I want to be. So
my next question is, let's be real, like, how do you guys live, like, financially? How does this work out for you guys?
Yeah, so we as interns spent this whole past summer building a team of ministry partners. So the way it works is for the summer, that is our job, right? That was our job, is meeting with people this year on Zoom and phone calls, but in a typical year, right, meeting in person with different families, friends, churches, and just asking them to partner alongside with you with support, whether that be financially or prayerfully. And that's what that looks like. For myself, I really loved the experience. It is a very difficult one, but it gave me an opportunity to really just connect with a lot of people that I don't typically connect with on a deeper level, and able to share a lot of, what the Lord had been doing in my life in college with those people. Just to see the Lord provide, right, this whole summer for myself, and I know Taylor as well, was just really cool. Really cool just to be able to rely on the Lord in that way. Right. And so summer support raising, right, and then once the semester starts, that's done, and we can fully, commit to doing full-time ministry here on campus, and not have to worry about, right, our finances, right? That is all covered for. Yeah.
All right. And then obviously interning with Crew can be a little nerve-wracking, or just interning anywhere, going into that full-time ministry for a full year. What were some fears that you guys had, or were you guys nervous about anything at all going into that?
Yeah. For me, one of the biggest fears was honestly the financial stress of graduating. I was, like many students, graduated college with a decent amount of student debt. And so trying to figure out, while Crew does take care of you, can I financially live while also paying off student loans? And it's definitely something to talk about staff with. I was able to bring that into how I am raising support, and it wasn't something that prevented me. Also too, just the stress of, am I good enough? Like, do I know enough? Like I said, I became a Christian freshman year of college. So compared to some people, I'm newer in my walk with the Lord, but the Lord can use me, even though I've only been walking with the Lord it'll be 4 years this year. So just trying to break down barriers of, do I know enough? Am I enough?
Yeah, for sure. For me, there were a few different things, but one of the biggest things for me was just trying to decide to do this while considering my family and really what I thought my family wanted for me. My family's super supportive. They absolutely support this decision. But my dad was an engineer, and my parents paid for my college to be an engineer. So the next logical step is to get a job in engineering and make money that way to provide for myself and my future family. So that was just a very difficult thing of coming to terms with for myself, that, hey, this is certainly like where the Lord has called me, like regardless of right, the financial side of it. Like, I know that this is where the Lord's calling me. And it took some conversations with my parents, but like I said, they're super supportive of it. And I certainly don't have any regrets, but that was something for sure that started to put doubts in my head of hey, like maybe like, right, it makes sense, right? You go to college, you study this, so you get this job. But yeah, that wasn't really what was satisfying for me, for sure.
So if people have more questions about what interning looks like, or what your experience has been, what should they do?
Yeah, you guys can hit us up. We'd love to meet or talk with any one of you guys or girls out there. Our numbers are maybe on the screen. Maybe they're right here. My number, Taylor's number, right there. Very nice. You can text us or just find us, whatever. We'd love to answer any of your questions. We'd love to buy you coffee. We have the ability to do that. Isn't that fun? We can buy you coffee. Yeah. We'd love to talk with you. Whether it's about
cream cold brew, I got you.
That stuff sounds good. It sounds kind of intense. Yeah, we'd love to talk with you about interning, joining staff, whether it's right here on a campus or right overseas in the world somewhere. Stinting is an option too. Part-time staff is an option too. But we'd love to talk with you guys about any of it. our experiences in general if you're interested. So,
Any nerves you may have or hesitations,
Yep.
we got you. Cool. Awesome. Thanks for taking the time, y'all.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
We appreciate it.
Thank you guys for talking with us.
Guys, I owe you an apology. I completely forgot to tell Brady to add in those little subtext of where
Ask
the
Brady.
number was going to come up.
Yeah.
So that one's on me. But yeah, they'll be there at the end though.
Yeah, we will get those numbers to you guys because we really want you to be able to reach out to them. They're super cool, as you can tell, and they would love to get coffee with you. They would love to tell you more about what they do. And if you're not interested in interning, they still care about who you are and want to get to know you better. So text them, hit them up.
Text them, all that stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, so now we're going to be transitioning into a time of worship. So we still can't ask you guys to sing. So just take some time to yourself, pray, reflect, and then we'll see you guys shortly.
In Exodus 3, God called to Moses from within the burning bush and says, Moses, Moses, do not come any closer. Take off your sandals, for the place where you are standing is holy ground. So now go, I'm sending you to Pharaoh to bring my people, the Israelites, out of Egypt. Moses said to God, suppose I go to the Israelites and say to them, the God of your fathers has sent me to you, and they ask me, what is his name? Then what shall I tell them? God said to Moses, I am who I am. This is what you are to say to the Israelites. I am has sent me to you.
I wanna be close to your side, so heaven is real, death is alive. I wanna hear voices from angels above, singing as one, hallelujah. Holy, holy, God Almighty, the great I am, who is worthy, none beside thee, God Almighty, the great I am. I wanna be near to your heart, loving the world, hating the dark. I wanna see dry bones, living again, singing as one, hallelujah, holy, holy, God Almighty, the great I am, who is worthy, none beside thee, God Almighty, the great I am. The great I am. Great I am. The mountains shake before the demons running free. At the mention of your name, King of Majesty, there is no power in hell or any who can stand before the power and the presence of the great I am. Great I am. The great I am. Great I am. Great I am.
great I am. Hallelujah. Holy, holy, God Almighty, the great I am. Who is worthy? None beside thee. God Almighty, great I am. Great I am. Great I am. Yeah. Great I am. The mountains shake before the demons run and flee. At the mention of the great King of Majesty, there is no power in hell or any who can stand before the power and the presence of the great I am. 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 Hallelujah. Holy, holy, God Almighty, the great I am. Who is worthy? None beside thee. God Almighty, great I am. Great I am. Yeah. Great I
Hey guys, thank you so much for worshiping with us. Yeah, I really love that we still do that. That we still worship together. Because even though things have changed a lot about this year, God's glory hasn't diminished. It hasn't changed, and so our worship shouldn't diminish. And yeah, so anyways, I just really love worshiping with you guys. So thank you for that. Okay, so tonight we have the honor, the joy of hearing from someone who's pretty cool. Her name is Rebecca Lansford. She's pretty epic. And fun fact about her, she actually has this condition called dead butt syndrome. And I honestly could not tell you what that means. Like, I have no idea. But we've decided that the funeral for her butt is on 3 weeks from now. And social distancing practices will be observed, masks are required, and she's bringing snacks. So you should go to her butt's funeral. I can't even say it, guys. Okay, all right. Look for the Evite in your inbox, and please welcome Rebecca Lansford.
Oh man, hello. I never thought that my butt would be talked about at Crew. So thanks for that, Shannon Kate. You can look that up a little bit later. It's a real thing. I'm not kidding. I actually, when I got the diagnosis, I took a picture of it and sent it to my staff team, and I was like, well, guys, here we go. So Anyway, look that up, little light reading later on tonight. But I'm super excited to be back with you guys tonight, just 2 weeks after I got to speak before. And I have the privilege of kicking off a new series, which I'm so excited about because one, it was my idea. That's how excited I am about it. But two, because I've been hearing from you guys, a lot of you, that you want to know how to have spiritual conversations. I've been hearing from you all, how do I have conversations with my friends about spiritual things that aren't awkward? How do I start talking about real things when I haven't really talked about that with some of my friends before? How do I bring up deeper things in conversation without making it feel like weird and staged? So that's what we're going to be talking about for the next 4 weeks in our series, with a little break in between. We'll have 2 weeks with this series, and then we're going to hear from the traveling team, and then we'll have 2 more weeks in our Cojourners series. So what is a cojourner, you may ask? That's a great question. A cojourner is someone who journeys alongside someone else on their spiritual journey. So cojourner journeys alongside someone else on their spiritual journey. And so if you've ever thought to yourself, man, how do I start spiritual conversations? Or how do I bring up the gospel or beliefs or faith or spirituality in a way that doesn't feel awkward or forced or contrived, then you're going to love this. We're going to walk through 4 roles that we have as we seek to love our friends and our neighbors well by caring about their spiritual journeys. So this is not a series on how to force the gospel on someone or how to trick them into listening to our gospel presentation. This is about you journeying alongside those that you care about and intentionally seeking to learn about them, to share the good news of Jesus with them, to help build bridges over the obstacles that could keep them from believing the gospel, and how to mentor them in the faith. This is not a systematic formula of first you do this and then you do this. It depends on your relationship with the person and where they are in their spiritual journey. So it'll ebb and flow as your relationship with them develops. Keith Davey is on staff with Crew, and he's the one who developed this concept. And he said, everyone is on a spiritual journey. We can't help it. God created us that way. Granted, some are moving toward God and others are moving away from him. Some pursue gods who aren't God at all. Others are stuck in a spiritual quagmire and are not going anywhere. There are those who are spiritually open while others are closed. Some are spiritually involved, some are not. But in each and every case, they are on a spiritual journey. Here's the second fact you can count on. God is already at work in people's lives, whether they ever glance heavenward or not. He is not a passive observer or a shut-in desperately hoping for visitors. No, he is active and an almighty participant, the Lord of the harvest who sends workers into his harvest field, the God who created all people and nations, determining the times set for them and the exact places that they should live, that men would seek him and perhaps reach out for him and find him. His spirit is at work in the lives of people today, and he's given us the privilege of being his fellow workers by entering the spiritual journeys of others and helping them come to Jesus. So before I dive in, I do want to mention, maybe you're here tonight and you don't know Jesus yet. You're still deciding if you believe Christianity to be true. And maybe you just heard what I said and you're like, I am out. These people are talking about how to talk to other people about Jesus, and I don't even know if I believe in Jesus yet. And I want you to hear from me that that's okay. I'm glad you're here, and this is a safe space where you are welcome. I hope that at the very least you'll hear my heart in this about the purpose of the series, and that is that we love you and we want to come alongside you in your journey of exploring Christianity, in your spiritual journey. Not to drag you along or push you from behind, but to walk alongside you. And so if you would like to talk with me more about the person of Jesus, who he is, questions about Christianity, any of that, I know my number, who they are and where they're at. And so when you think through what an explorer is, what a definition of an explorer is, an explorer enters into unknown territory and they seek to discover, to learn, and to understand. Through good questions and good listening, you're able to understand where people are spiritually. Through good questions, you're able to help them better understand their need for salvation, or even just what they believe currently. They may have not really thought about it or had someone ask questions that have helped them think about what they believe currently. And so I've mentioned this a lot before, and those of you who have been around Crew at all or been to Big Break, you know that I'm super passionate about asking good questions and listening. Talk about it a lot. I can see Austin nodding his head over here in the corner, even though I'm looking at the camera. I think asking good questions is this lost art that we can reclaim, we can kind of take back. And even if it's something that you're like, oh, I don't really know how to do that, I really do believe it's a skill that we can all develop and become better at. And so first we have to answer the question, what are good questions? First, I would say there's no magical questions of like, this always works, this always great, but there are good and bad questions. So good questions are open-ended questions. For example, how are you? Yes, I'm serious. I bet you weren't expecting that. It's a good question when we genuinely care about the answer. When we ask people how they are and we actually mean it, it's countercultural, because how often do you walk into a room, maybe you sit down at class, 6 feet away from someone, how are you? Fine, cool. And that's the end of the conversation, right? But when we ask people and we genuinely want to hear their answer, people recognize that it's significant. We can then listen to what people have to say, explore more about them. And I think that we'll find that the majority of people will appreciate someone who genuinely cares about how they're doing. Other easy examples of good open-ended questions are, what's been a highlight of the semester for you? What would be your perfect weekend? What are some things that rejuvenate you? Or some questions that are easy to enter into spiritual conversations. What did you do this weekend? Did you have any family traditions around the holidays? I was hanging out with a friend of mine one time, and she was talking about needing a dress for Christmas Eve service. And so I just said, oh, did your family always go to church growing up on Christmas? Did you always go on Christmas Eve? Really, really easy, non-threatening. Other easy questions. Did you grow up in a spiritual household? Was that a positive or a negative experience? The word sometime can be a really powerful tool. So even saying to someone, hey, sometime maybe you could come to Crew with me. Hey, sometime I'd love to take you to church. And it's non-threatening because it doesn't require a response right then. Just kind of throwing it out there. Let it sit, and then you can come back to it later. Or even, hey, we've been talking a lot about background things. I would love to hear more about your spiritual journey sometime. So now we're going to do something a little bit different that we haven't done this semester. I want you to pair up with someone who's near you. We're not going to have a ton of time, so you don't need to move around or anything, but just pair up with someone near you. And I want you to ask them a good open-ended question. And this might feel weird, especially if you know them already, but think of a good open-ended question and then listen for the response. And that's it. And yes, please give a real answer, because it's also an opportunity to get to know people around you. So we're going to put just 3 minutes on the clock, take turns, ask each other a question, and then I'll bring us back.
Jesus, I love thee. I know thou art mine. All the follies of sin I resign. My gracious Redeemer, my Savior art thou. If ever I love thee, my Jesus, 'tis now. I love thee because thou hast first loved me and purchased my pardon on Calvary.
All right, I hope you enjoyed that. We're a little bit with a new prompt, but I hope you got a little bit of practice. I know it can feel kind of weird and maybe a little bit elementary of practicing asking questions, but like I said, I think asking good questions is a skill, and if it's a skill, then it's something we need to practice and learn and think about intentionally. So when you ask someone a question, it's not enough to just ask it. You have to listen well to their answer. And that means not sitting there thinking about what you're going to say, and you have to listen to what they're saying and then respond. Some really key conversational points, I think, are to make good eye contact with people, to nod your head. I love head nodding. I really do. This is really hard for me. Oh my gosh, they're all head nodding. This is great. Thank you. But yeah, I love knowing that like people are tracking with me. It's my way of letting people know, hey, I'm listening to you. Or even some like verbal, like, wow, yeah, that's really good. Oh, that must have been hard. And I'm not saying like everyone should be doing all these things, because I know personalities are different. And so I don't want someone to be sitting with you and being like, this is so weird. Why are they responding in this way? And I know not everyone is as verbal as I am in their responses, but just something, whatever would be comfortable or natural to you, to let that person know, hey, I'm listening to what you're saying. I care about this answer because I care about you. I care about your answer because you are a person who has value and dignity and worth as an image bearer. And so I'm asking this question and I'm going to listen to the answer. And so when you're listening, you can also be listening for certain things that would give you insight into who they are as a person. Like I said, an explorer is seeking to understand, to gain insight. And so there's 4 areas that I think would be helpful just to take note of as you're listening and exploring and getting to know people and co-journeying with them. The first is a window to their soul. So this is a comment that provides a view of what is true on the inside. The second is common ground. So things that you have in common with them. It's pretty, that one's obvious. The third is unmet needs. So hard things in their life that are burdening them, or needs that they have that aren't met. And the fourth is traces of the Spirit. So places where God is already at work in their lives. And we see Jesus do this perfectly, obviously. But we see a really great example of this in John 4, where Jesus does this. So if you have a Bible or an app on your phone, you want to turn there and read it with me. It's John 4, and we're going to be reading verses 5 through 30, I think. 4 through 30. So it says, and he had to pass through Samaria. So he came to a town of Samaria called Sychar, the field that Jacob had given to his son Joseph. Jacob's well was there. So Jesus, wearied as he was from his journey, was sitting beside the well. It was about the 6th hour. A woman from Samaria came to draw water. Jesus said to her, "Give me a drink," for his disciples had gone away into the city to buy food. The Samaritan woman said to him, "How is it that you, a Jew, ask for a drink from me, a woman of Samaria?" For Jews had no dealings with Samaritans. Jesus answered her, "If you knew the gift of God and who it is that is saying to you, 'Give me a drink,' you would have asked him, and he would have given you living water." The woman said to him, "Sir, you have nothing to draw water with, and the well is deep. Where do you get that living water? Are you greater than our father Jacob? He gave us the well and drank from it himself, as did his sons and his livestock." Jesus said to her, "Everyone who drinks of this water will be thirsty again, but whoever drinks of the water that I will give him will never be thirsty again. The water that I will give him will become in him a spring of water welling up to eternal life." The woman said to him, "Sir, give me this water so that I will not be thirsty or have to come here to draw water." Jesus said to her, "Go, call your husband and come here." The woman answered him, "I have no husband." Jesus said to her, "You are right in saying I have no husband, for you have had 5 husbands, and the one you now have is not your husband. What you have said is true." The woman said to him, "Sir, I perceive that you are a prophet. Our fathers worshipped on this mountain, but you say that in Jerusalem is the place where people ought to worship." Jesus said to her, "Woman, believe me, the hour is coming when neither on this mountain nor in Jerusalem will you worship the Father. You worship what you do not know. We worship what we know, for salvation is from the Jews. But the hour is coming and is here when the true worshipers will worship the Father in spirit and truth, for the Father is seeking such people to worship him. God is spirit, and those who worship him must worship in spirit and truth." The woman said, "I know that Messiah is coming, he who is called Christ. When he comes, he will tell us all things." Jesus said to her, I who speak to you am he. All right, we're gonna end there. So let's look at how Jesus ministers to this woman and draw out some application as we to do ministry like Jesus. So first, what's significant about where the conversation takes place? At the well. He meets her on her journey. He comes alongside her and the things that she's already doing in her everyday life. And then what are some inquiries that Jesus makes of the woman to ask her questions to get her to open up? He says, will you give me a drink? Easy conversation starter. They're well, right? But then he asks her to go get her husband. This gives insight about her background, right? And he's already Jesus, so he already knew these things about her. For all of us, we're going to have to ask more questions to find out more of her background. But he already knew these things. But he also helps her see her need, that there's a need here. And then what are some of the examples of the common ground, the windows to the soul, the unmet needs, and the traces of the Spirit that are revealed that we just talked about? The common ground, they're both thirsty. They're both hot and tired and thirsty. The window to the soul of I have no husband, and Jesus affirms that to be true. And then the traces of the Spirit already at work. She acknowledges that she knows the Christ is coming. So these are all insights as Jesus is engaging in this conversation with her and listening to her and asking follow-ups and things. He's taking note of these things and engaging appropriately. So how does the woman's encounter with Jesus influence her to believe? 1, he makes her feel known and cared for. 2, he is able to help her see her need, past her physical need, past the immediate felt need. He's able to help her see her deeper spiritual need. And then he's able to share the gospel in a way that is relevant according to her needs. So how does the woman's encounter with Jesus influence her to believe? She recognized her need and that the men she was turning to satisfy her weren't satisfying. She sees that Jesus can satisfy the thirst of her heart, and she meets her Savior, and her life changes. So to summarize this, I know we don't have a ton of time to dig in. There's so much here. Again, I'd love to talk to you more about it if you have questions about this. But Jesus comes alongside her in her day-to-day life, asks her questions that reveal the heart, and follows up on those questions, and then reveals himself to her in a way that's relevant to her needs. In the coming weeks, we're going to talk more about how do we connect the dots of those needs as we're exploring well, listening well, engaging with people, caring for them. How do we connect these dots to the gospel? How do we address inevitable obstacles that are going to come up as we're having conversations? And so we're going to talk about those. Well, little preview. Get excited. Come back. But tonight we're focusing on that explorer role and how Jesus used common ground, window to the soul, and identified where the Spirit was at work. An example of something that happened to me recently, I asked this question that I think is a really great one when you're thinking about open-ended questions, is what have you been learning during quarantine? Like everyone's been learning something. And so asking people that is really telling. And I was on a walk with a friend and I asked her that question, and she shared that because quarantine had stripped away all of her busyness, it had helped her realize that she had everything she thought she wanted. She had a husband, kids, accolades, a job that she loved. And she said, I quote, "I'm still not happy. There's something missing." And so that question had revealed a window to her soul of how she was really feeling. And it also gave insight into a need that she was feeling, this deeper sense of there's something missing here. There's some purpose that's not being fulfilled, even though I have all the things that I thought that I wanted. And so, doing my active listening and acknowledged to her that was really hard, and affirmed and thanked her for sharing that with me. And then asked her, so as you've been thinking about that, do you have any thoughts about what could be missing or what could bring you fulfillment? And so now I want you to take some time. Again, we're going to take 4 minutes and just stay with the same person that you were just paired with. And I want you to ask a good open-ended question to them. And then that person will respond. You'll listen to the response. And then I want you to ask a follow-up question to them. So if you're kind of stuck of like, oh, what kind of question would I ask? Something about family could be good. There's a lot of things that could be asked about there. But yeah, so just to reiterate, the first person will ask a good open-ended question. Second person will respond. And then that first person will give a follow-up question to that response. So take 4 minutes and then we'll come back and close it out.
Cold on my breath. ever I love thee. My Jesus is love. Right now, Redeemer, my Savior, Lord, is love. Right now, today's the day. Oh, you love me first. Sound from your people again, gladly forever adore him. Great is thy faithfulness, O God, my Father. There is no shadow of turning with thee. Thou changest not, thy compassions, they fail not. As thou hast been, thou forever will be. Great is thy faithfulness. Great is thy faithfulness. Morning by morning, new did thy hand hath provided. Great is thy faithfulness, we love. Great is thy faith.
Some of you might be wondering, this is great. Where do I go from here? What does this mean? First step, I would recommend to all of you, make a list of 5 people in your life who don't know Jesus. Write them down on a list and put it in your Bible or you can write it in your phone, somewhere that you will see it, but probably they won't. That'd probably be good. But just keep it somewhere that you can see it. And I'll show you, this is my list here. And every time I open my Bible, I commit to praying for those people in my life who I care about deeply. I love them. They're such dear friends of mine, and I deeply desire them to know Jesus, because I know that a relationship with Jesus is the most important thing in the world. And so I want to share that with them. So make that list and then pray for them. Commit to praying for them on a regular basis. Commit their spiritual journey to the Lord, because we know that we can't hope to do anything without him. He has to be the one to move. Pray for opportunities to be an explorer with those friends or family or even acquaintances. Pray for opportunities to be an explorer with them this week. And I think you'd be surprised at, when we're praying for them, how often we notice opportunities to ask questions, how often we notice that there are opportunities presented to have deeper conversations, because we're already praying about it, and so we're already thinking about it. For me, one of the places that I have friendships is at the gym. And so every day as I'm walking into the gym, I pray that the Lord would help me to love those around me and care for them and build relationship with them. So think about if that's a place for you, or if it's that list of 5 people. And then next, you can consider a few questions. One is, how can I care for my friend? How can I care for my friend? How can I be praying for them? Not just spiritually, but how can I be praying for them in general? And maybe even just ask them, how can I be praying for you? I find that no one has ever, anyone who doesn't know Jesus or they've never turned down prayer for me. They never said like, oh, that's weird, don't pray for me. They're always really appreciative that I would offer to pray for them. The third thing is, what kind of open-ended questions can I ask them about their faith journey? So thinking through, what are some good open-ended questions that I could ask them that would help us to engage about spiritual things? Maybe you need to think through, what are some things that I can do for fun with this friend that will give me an opportunity to have conversation with them? Maybe you're always doing things together, but don't have the opportunity to have deeper conversations. So what are some things you can do with them that will allow for deeper conversation? And then if you're feeling really busy and you're feeling overwhelmed, like, I don't know how I'm going to do this, how can you make time for that friend? What is it that you need to do so you can make time for that friend? All right, so I know this might have felt like a lot to some of you. And I know some of you might be feeling intimidated and overwhelmed. Maybe some of you are like, this is great. Like, I'm so excited and ready to go. But I just want to remind you that you're seeking to love and care for people who are in your life already. They're in your life for a reason. God's put them there for a purpose. And people are craving authentic, deep relationships, especially now. And that's what being an explorer is. Being an explorer is developing deep, authentic relationships with people, not with an agenda of, oh, I have to convert them or whatever it is, but a genuine care for another image bearer of God. So let us be people who love others authentically so that they can experience the love of Jesus through his people. Let me pray. Lord, thank you so much for tonight. Thanks for the opportunity to speak and to be together. Lord, I pray that you would give us opportunities this week to be an explorer. I pray that you would open up doors for conversations. I pray that we would have real, authentic, deep conversations about spirituality and faith with those around us. I pray that you would bring to mind 5 people for each person who's watching this, who's listening, whether it's tonight or later. I pray that you would bring to mind people who you have put in their lives, that you desire to use them as a co-journer alongside in their spiritual journey. God, we trust you. We know that you're the one who does everything. You're the one who moves in hearts. You're the one who loved us first. And I pray that we would simply desire to share that love with others. We love you, and it's in your son's name I pray. Amen.
Hey guys. Y'all, this has been a really, really sweet time. We're so grateful that you joined us tonight. We think you're really cool. We're big fans. That's all we have for you guys tonight. We have questions actually that are going to be on a screen that will come on after this. It's going to kind of rotate through, so don't be alarmed if the question disappears. It will come back. We'd love for you guys in the small groups that you're a part of to share and reflect on these, verbally process with one another. It's really cool. We want you guys to be talking about these things. Yeah.
And with that being said,
Mhm.
you guys have a fantastic fall break.
Yeah.
We'll see you guys
Enjoy your
next week.
time. Have some rest.
Have a great time.
Yeah.
We'll see you.
Okay. Bye, guys.
Bye,
We'll see you
guys.
next week.
See ya.
Actually, wait. No, we won't.
My ransom plea at the cross. Oh, I rejoice in my trust in him, no other. My soul is satisfied in him alone. My soul is satisfied in him alone. When I fear my faith will fail, Christ will hold me fast. When the tempter will prevail, He will hold me fast. I could never keep my hope through life's fearful path, for my love is often cold. He must hold me fast. He will hold me fast. He will hold me fast. For my Savior loves me so. He will hold me fast. Those He saves are His delight. Christ will hold me fast. Precious in His holy sight, He will hold me fast. He'll not let my soul be lost. His promises shall last. Bought by Him at such a cost. He will hold me fast. He will hold me fast. He will hold me fast. For my Savior loves me so. He will hold me fast. For my life He bled and died. Christ will hold me fast. He will hold me fast till our faith is turned aside. When He comes in He will hold me fast. He will hold me fast. For my Savior loves me so. He will hold me fast. Oh, He will hold me fast. He will hold me fast. For my Savior loves me so. He will hold me fast. He began to work in me. He began to work in me. He'll complete a work in me. He'll complete a work in me. Oh, 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 oh. There is a fountain filled beneath that stain, lose all their guilty stains, lose all their guilty stains, and sinners plunged beneath that blood, lose all their guilty stains. The dying feet rejoice to see that fountain in his day. And there may I, though all my sins away, wash all my sins away. And there may I, though violence be, wash all my sins away. Full of love, poured out. Hallelujah, full of love, poured out. Hallelujah, fountain full of love for us, poured out on us. Hallelujah, fountain full of love for us, poured out. By faith, I saw